So here's the truth. Nobody at the palace wants to admit out loud. King Charles is running out of time. And I don't just mean because of his health. No, I'm talking about the storm brewing inside the royal family that's about to erupt into something far bigger than a family feud. For months now, whispers have been swirling that Prince Harry is trying to force a face-to-face with his father, not as a son desperate to reconnect, but as a man armed with demands. Demands that don't just stretch the limits of decency, but test the very foundations of the monarchy itself. And the timing couldn't be worse. Charles is battling cancer, juggling royal duties, and trying to hold together an institution that feels shakier than ever. But here comes Harry, stepping onto the stage with a list so outrageous it sounds like something from a bad TV drama. Insiders claim he's insisting Meghan be restored to full royal status, not just attending events here and there. No, he wants her to be recognised formally again, with bows and curtsies included, as if the last 4 years of attacks, interviews and book deals never happened. Imagine that. The same woman who accused the family of racism, who painted them as villains to Oprah, suddenly expected to be treated with royal reverence the moment she steps back onto British soil. And that's not the end of it. Harry is also allegedly demanding taxpayer-funded protection for himself, Meghan and their children, despite having willingly walked away from the role and responsibilities that justify such privileges. And here's the kicker. Harry reportedly wants this meeting to happen on his terms, at his convenience, the very moment he sets foot in London. No concern for his father's medical schedule, no acknowledgement of the solemn anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's death, which falls during his trip. It's as if Harry believes the world should stop spinning the moment he arrives, because in his mind, he's still the centre of the royal universe. Meanwhile, Prince William isn't just standing by, he's drawing a hard line. Sources close to him say he's made it painfully clear that reconciliation is not an option. Not after the Netflix specials, not after Spare, and certainly not after years of seeing private family matters sold off to the highest bidder. William has been preparing his entire life for the crown, and the last thing he's willing to do is jeopardise the institution for the sake of a brother who's shown zero loyalty. In private, he said that if Charles even considers meeting Harry under these terms, it would be seen as nothing less than betrayal. Betrayal of him, of Catherine, and of the monarchy itself. Let's rewind for a second to understand how deep this cut runs. After Prince Philip's funeral, King Charles reportedly looked at his two sons and pleaded, "Please, boys, don't make my final years a misery." Those were the words of a father who just buried his own father, who wanted nothing more than peace in his family. But instead of honouring that moment, Harry allegedly turned it into content. That line, that deeply private plea, wound up in American media, stripped of context, sold as part of his narrative. That was the breaking point. Princess Anne summed it up best. With Harry, the only safe topic left is the weather. Think about that. A son reduced to small talk because anything more meaningful risks ending up in the headlines. And this isn't paranoia. Look at the pattern. Every time the palace stays quiet, mysteriously a new story emerges in the press, not from official channels, but from sources conveniently close to Harry. A secret summit is coming. A reconciliation is near. The king is reaching out. Over and over, these headlines pop up, often in the very tabloids Harry claims to despise. And every time it becomes clearer. This isn't about healing wounds. It's about cornering Charles, playing the PR game, making it look like the king is neglecting his sick son. It's emotional blackmail dressed up as news. But here's where Harry miscalculated. The British public isn't buying it anymore. Sympathy that once flowed his way has evaporated. People see the manipulation, the contradictions, the hypocrisy. How can you cry out against the press while simultaneously feeding it stories? How can you demand respect from the very institution you've spent years tearing down? And more importantly, how can you expect to dictate the schedule of the King of England, a man battling cancer, as if he's your assistant? William, on the other hand, has been stepping up in ways that even his critics can't ignore. Insiders say his private demeanour has shifted. He's sharper now, less willing to compromise, more willing to take charge. As one political figure put it, it's no longer, "What can I do to help?" It's, "Here are my plans." That's the voice of a man who's no longer just the heir, but the emerging leader. And whether Charles likes it or not, the monarchy is already starting to tilt toward William's influence. He's younger, healthier, more in tune with modern Britain, and most importantly, he's not bogged down by the toxic mess Harry drags in every time he opens his mouth. And let's not forget Catherine. Even as she quietly recovers from her own health struggles, she remains a symbol of stability and grace. The contrast between her silence and Meghan's constant headlines couldn't be starker. Where Meghan makes noise, Catherine embodies dignity. That difference hasn't gone unnoticed. Public approval for William and Catherine remains sky high, and in a family fighting for survival, that kind of steady popularity is priceless. Now picture this from Charles's perspective. He's exhausted, physically from treatment, emotionally from betrayal. Every leak from Montecito is another weight on his shoulders. Every headline quoting an anonymous friend of Harry's chips away at the peace he craves. And then there's Camilla, his steady anchor. People underestimate her, but those close to the palace say she's fiercely protective, practical to the core, and far less sentimental than Charles. She hasn't forgotten the digs Meghan made about her, the sly jabs in interviews. Camilla knows exactly how fragile perception is, and she's reportedly urging Charles not to cave. For her, this isn't just about family drama. It's about protecting the monarchy's dignity and ensuring history doesn't remember his reign as one marked by weakness. The irony is brutal. Harry once accused his family of planting stories, manipulating the press and spinning narratives. Now, he's the one doing exactly that. And it's backfiring, because with every carefully timed leak, the gap between him and the people of Britain grows wider. There's a reason poll after poll shows support swinging back toward Charles and William. People are tired of the drama, the contradictions, the endless victimhood act. And here's the harsh reality Harry doesn't want to face. He's running out of cards to play. The Netflix deal fizzled. The Spotify deal collapsed. His memoir sold big at first, but quickly faded. The world has heard his story over and over, and the novelty is gone. Without the royal connection, without the insider bombshells, what's left? Hollywood isn't lining up, public sympathy is dwindling, and Meghan's own ventures haven't exactly set the world on fire. The empire they dreamed of building in California looks shakier by the day. That's why this so-called summit with Charles matters so much to him. It's not about reconciliation. It's about relevance. It's about reattaching himself to the monarchy just enough to stay in the headlines, just enough to have something to sell. But Charles, for all his softness as a father, is finally waking up to the cost. He can't keep splitting himself between being a dad and being a king. The stakes are too high. If he gives in to Harry now, he risks alienating William permanently. He risks undermining his own reign. And he risks telling the public that betrayal comes with no consequences. So where does that leave us? with a monarchy at a crossroads. On one side, a sick king torn between love and duty. On the other, a son clawing for relevance at any cost. And standing quietly but firmly in the middle, William and Catherine, the future that feels more inevitable every single day. The palace hasn't announced a decision yet, but those closest to Charles say it's only a matter of time. The juggling act can't last. For the sake of the crown, for the sake of stability, and perhaps even for the sake of his own peace of mind, Charles may have to finally do the unthinkable. Let Harry go. Cut the cord, close the door, and move forward with the family members who are actually willing to protect the institution, not profit from it. It won't be easy. It won't be painless. But history is watching, and history doesn't forgive weakness. And maybe, just maybe, that's the final tragedy here. Because what Harry could have been, a loyal brother, a supportive son, a modernizer of the monarchy, has been drowned out by what he chose to become, a headline machine. And when the noise fades, when the spotlight moves on, the question will remain, was it worth it? Because one thing is certain. While Harry clings to the past, William is already shaping the future. And the crown, no matter what storms rage, always moves forward.